Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Ellison, and tonight I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite things, and that is sleep. Now, what I'm going to be talking to you guys primarily about is of two topics regarding sleep. The first one is what you can do to align yourself with the most natural sleeping pattern possible that you can get in harmony with and follow daily. And when I say natural, I'm talking about a sleeping pattern that's fully aligned with the circadian rhythm of the planet and mankind's evolution, how our ancestors slept, how nature sleeps really. Well, a lot of nature that's non-nocturnal rather. And the other thing I'm going to be getting into is the idea of what you can do if you're unable to adapt to that sort of natural awakened sleep cycle. What you can do to make sure, even if you can't get 8 hours of sleep, what you'll be able to incorporate into your nighttime rituals and your sleeping habits that will allow for you to get the most bang for your buck out of sleeps that aren't in your circadian rhythm, and also too sleeps that are under 8 hours, lengths of time where that are typically under what most experts would recommend for you, anywhere between 5 and 7 hours or even fewer. We obviously don't want it to get to that point, but if that's your case, what can you do to get the best bang for your buck for your sleep? Now, starting off with the circadian rhythm and how to tune into that. Your circadian rhythm is your body's wake and sleep cycle, and that circadian rhythm is normally very much aligned with the circadian rhythm of the planet. And what you'll find is that it's governed by the idea of rising in the morning with the sun and going to bed in the evening, going down with the sun. It's typically the principle of the circadian rhythm. And it's governed by a small gland in the body called the pineal gland. It's right in the middle of your head, typically. And what the pineal gland does is it does a whole bunch of things, and I'll be making a new video on the pineal gland in a little bit. But for this sake right now, we're going to talk about one of its many functions, and its primary function that's recognized for right now in science is that it is actually the producer of melatonin. And melatonin is essentially a sleep hormone that your body produces to begin the sleep process. And typically, your pineal gland works with your internal clock as well as the sun to be able to help you flow with the circadian rhythm. Now, typically, what your pineal gland is designed to do, in this sense, to be able to produce melatonin, is it actually takes in sunlight through your eyes and through your head, actually, as well, as it's surrounded by rods and cones, which your eyeballs have, ironically, and it pulls light into it, it takes light photons in, and from there, it's able to register that, the sun is shining, therefore, it is daytime. And, when that sort of stimuli decreases, and a few other functions begin to happen, the pineal gland begins to register that it is no longer daytime, it is nighttime, and begins to produce melatonin to help your body in the sleep. The sleep process. So, as I was saying before, sunlight is the key stimulator of the pineal gland's awareness of the wake and sleep cycle, the circadian rhythm. So the idea is every day to help tune in to this rhythm and get your body to flow with it is to actually allow for yourself to get at least 20 minutes every day of actual sunlight touching your head. And what this will do is it will allow for the pineal glands to take in that sunlight, and it'll start to register that, okay, it's daytime, don't produce melatonin, as melatonin is destroyed by light, sunlight in particular. And once that stimuli has left and the pineal gland's done that registration of, okay, it was once sunny and now it no longer is, it will begin to produce melatonin. Now, what you can also do to aid in your body's circadian rhythm and to aid in your pineal gland's production of melatonin is to eat foods containing a substance known as tryptophan. And tryptophan is the first chemical, or the first chemical really, in a series of productions. It's a precursor. And tryptophan actually leads to serotonin. It's a precursor for it, which means that eventually it helps create this other substance known as serotonin. And serotonin begins to create the substance melatonin, which the pineal gland releases to be able to help the body sleep. So, by eating foods rich in tryptophans throughout the day, or at one point during the day, you're giving your body the fuel it needs to be able to produce melatonin. So this is very crucial. And there's one food in particular that I highly recommend because I've been eating it. It's been a part of my diet for a while, and actually when I found this out, I was really happy I was eating it. And that's actually pumpkin seeds are rich in tryptophan. So eating raw pumpkin seeds, which means they haven't been treated with heat, which means the tryptophan isn't destroyed, or the enzymes for that matter, you'll be able to help your body build that process of constructing melatonin, which will thus in turn help you sleep more soundly, but will also help your body get back into the flow of the planet's circadian rhythm. And you'll start to have a more natural sleep cycle, rising in the morning and falling as the sun goes down. Now, what else can you do to help have the most natural sleep cycle possible? Now, this is something that actually comes from Paul Chek's institute. He's another holistic health practitioner. He's an amazing source of information. This comes from professionals at his institute. And what they talk about is how at nighttime, the body is going through two main restorative processes. And the restorative processes begin at 10 p.m. at night. So the idea is you want to be in bed between 10 p.m. at night so your body can fully utilize these two restorative processes. Now, these processes begin, like I said, at 10 o'clock, and the first one lasts from 10 to 2. 10 in the p.m., 2 in the a.m. And this is where your body is beginning its physical restoration. The restoration of the elements of the physical body that have been stressed throughout the day, restoring areas that have been doing a lot of work or maybe overworked, healing the organs and things of that nature are actually taking place in the body from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. The second restorative process is happening from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And this is where your body is beginning to restore the neurological systems and components, and it's also helping to begin to restore the nervous system components as well. And this is very important too, as you know. I mean, we need that sort of system to be able to really function, on even a very basic level. So being asleep at 10 p.m. and sleeping through these two restorative processes to about 6 a.m. is going to allow for you to actually get the most restorative sleep possible, because you're sleeping during a time when your body is using its energy to fully restore its systems. The body, as far as I know, is probably doing these things anyway. But if you're awake, past 10 p.m. and you're staying up late into the morning, you're using energy the body is able to be using for these restorative processes. So right there, that is really what you can do to help get in harmony with the circadian rhythm, to be able to truly just tap into that. And it's a powerful rhythm to be in harmony with. I've done it before. I'm not doing it right now, but I'm working to incorporate it more, because I can feel my body asking for it. I've started eating more pumpkin seeds and really getting sunlight on my head and spending more time outside. And because I've been doing that, and I'm waking up a little bit earlier, my body's registering when the proper time to sleep is. So even as I'm making this video right now, I'm literally almost exhausted, which is ironic considering the night before I was up extremely late. And it's just signs that my body's really like wanting to go back into that natural pattern. So I should probably be wise and listen to it instead of fight it. But I'm going to finish this video at least. Now, the next thing you can do, let's say you work till 10 o'clock every night or something like that, or you like to party and you go out all the time, and you definitely aren't going to be asleep by 10 o'clock, and you may not even get 8 hours of sleep. Let's say maybe you're guaranteed only 5 hours or 6 hours or 7 hours. This next topic I'm going to be talking about is pertaining to that issue right there. Not being able to sleep with nature and not being able to sleep as much as your body truly wants to. What I want to talk about, and this comes from David Wolf, excellent author, one of a person I very much admire in terms of his knowledge and all that I feel like I've learned from him. This comes from him, and what he came up with was a formula you can use to actually reap the benefits of of not being able to sleep that much. What is the most bang for your buck you can get from little sleep and sleep that's not in alignment with the circadian rhythm? And what techniques are there to be able to make sure you're getting, the most you can from your sleep? And these techniques, by all means, can be incorporated with the circadian rhythm. If you incorporated these with the first thing, my God, you'd be like a sleep jujitsu master. Now, what I want to talk about is his techniques. So what he was saying to do is primarily, one, not use a pillow when you sleep. Now, this may sound very silly, and to some people it may sound uncomfortable, but the idea is that without a pillow, the body is able to relax in a way that a pillow actually restricts. When you're with a pillow, your head is constantly, your head's essentially doing this constantly. It's propped up. And what's happening there is you're actually creating tension and stress in the neck region up here. So not only does this lead to soreness in the morning and, repetitions and sleeping funny, but what also is happening here is your body is, dealing with that stress while you sleep, and it's actually restricting the quality of sleep you can get. So his first rule was literally just ditching a pillow. And I've been, pillow free now for about 2 weeks. Just gave it a shot, really, to see, or about a week or so, just to see what it was like. And I've actually found I do get deeper sleep, which I thought was extremely, extremely interesting. So I'm just going to keep it up. I actually kind of like it more, and I'm able to do it. It was very, very simple. Now, the next technique out there that he recommends, and this is something I have not done yet. I'm working to do it, though. I have a foot injury, and I want to make sure my foot heals up as best as it can before I do this technique. And what he was suggesting was actually taking the pillow, and instead of putting it under your head, put it under your butt. And just bear with me here. Put it under your butt, and then with your hips and your butt supported, place your legs up against the wall. And what this is going to do is actually, it's a yoga position, ironically, and it works to calm the adrenal glands. It really works to actually relax the whole system. If you ever try this, it is extremely relaxing. So the idea is your body kind of does this, where your head is the elbow and your feet are my hand, and your hand is against the wall. Your feet are against the wall, rather. So you're laying like that, propped up under a pillow, with your feet against the wall. And what's going to happen is you're doing an inversion, which means your blood is flowing throughout the body in a different way, rather. And what's happening here is it adds a purification and a cleansing of your circulatory system, really. It's helping in a few areas. Some theorists say it's helping with calcification. And getting garbage that's clogging the system to become looser, and eventually it helps to unclog these things, makes the system less congested, and obviously helps with circulation. But on top of this, it is very, very relaxing. He actually sleeps like that. I have not done it yet. My goal is to attempt it to see what it is like, because apparently it's pretty good. However, what you can do is, if you don't feel called to actually sleep like that, you can just do that for about 15 minutes when you first get into bed. And what that is going to do is literally going to put your body in a state of relaxation. I highly encourage it and highly recommend it. So it's really a matter of just laying in bed with your butt supported by a pillow and your feet resting up against the wall, and just relax. It's literally going to really calm your system down. It's going to help you be able to fall to sleep much, much faster. So that was technique number 2 he came up with. Technique number 3, and this is also a yoga technique, ironically, that is doing an inversion as soon as you wake up in the morning. And not just any inversion, but a headstand or a shoulder stand in yoga. And now this doesn't have to be a handstand. We're not talking about that. It's a whole different thing. We're talking about a headstand or a shoulder stand. And doing that first thing in the morning. I prefer to do yoga when I wake up and then end with the headstand. Or the shoulders, headstand, I believe it is. And I find that really, really, really is like an energizing thing. It literally flips your system. And doing that first thing in the morning, extremely beneficial. I highly recommend that because I have literally felt the effects. You essentially just wake up much quicker. You get grogginess out of your system. So that right there, as soon as you wake up, crucial. That will help you to have so much more energy. There's probably tons of YouTube videos out there on how to do these things. I had a yoga teacher explain it to me once, And just from having her explain it to me, I was able to practice on my own at my home, and I actually perfected it by myself, in my room. So 100% doable. If I can do it, you can do it. If you have legs and they work and a body that works, and you're inside of it and you're able to really navigate it well, you can do this too. If you so choose, that is, of course. And it's very easy, it's very fun, and you feel kind of cool. You're like, hell yeah, I started my day, with my feet in the air. This is great. So that is the other thing you're able to do to ensure that you get the best quality sleep, and most energy, in circumstances where maybe you're not sleeping as much as you should. The other thing to do is literally, as you are sleeping at night, unplug every single appliance in your room. Have no appliances plugged in. And what you're doing there is you are literally removing EMF waves. They're electromagnetic fields that exist. And they literally form when appliances begin to become plugged into things. So the idea is literally just have no appliances plugged in, no technology whatsoever, no cell phone charging if you can do it, and no computer charging, no lamps plugged in. Unplug everything, and you'll probably notice this right away. There is a very nice calm atmosphere that begins to set in the room. And for those of you that don't know about EMF fields, they actually are these invisible fields that are created by our electronic devices that have been shown to actually alter the way our bodies function. I'll do another video on that another time, but for right now, I'm just going to leave it as a tip. Just unplug the electronic appliances. Also, to limit your exposure to fluorescent lighting, to technology, up to an hour before going to bed. It's one of the easiest things you can do. If you have to use lighting, just use dim lighting or red lights, as they are supposed to be much less impactful upon your body's circadian rhythm. A few other things that are obvious: don't eat food at least 3 hours before going to bed, especially sugary food. No caffeine at night, or I found that out again the hard way. I had some dark chocolate literally 2 hours before I was going to go to bed. I was like wired all night, and it just is like, it's just a fact. No sugary foods, no caffeine, or you're going to have a harder time falling asleep. So these are the things you can do, just the little techniques you are able to do to be able to fully engage in restful, deep sleep. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Again, these techniques are fantastic. They definitely work. I swear by them. I'm getting better and better and better at the second part of the video that talks about what to do if you're not sleeping in alignment with nature. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. But my goal, obviously, is to transition to the initial part of the video and bring everything I learned from part 2 to part 1, so I can not only get the best quality sleep possible, but I can do it in sync with the planet's natural rhythmic cycles. So 18 minutes of your life now spent on this video if you've watched the whole thing. Hopefully you'll be able to make it up with deeper sleep. Good night, everybody. Sweet dreams. I'm Tyler Ellison. It was nice talking to you.